Hey guys, I recently got together to film a video with the producer and mixing engineer for my upcoming album, I'm Okay, I'll Be Okay. Dylan Barnes is a super talented songwriter, producer, mixing engineer, and it was a pleasure to work with him on this project. We got together to talk a little bit about the album, the process behind its creation, our favorite moments, and honestly, just kind of goofed around some too. This video has been so much fun to put together. Big shout out to Dylan and Jordan for being a part of it. Be sure to check out Dylan's socials. He's got a new album called Voices out that we talk a little bit in this interview. It's a great album. You should check it out. And if you're a musician looking to work with somebody in the Tucson area, I do highly suggest Dylan.
Well, thanks again, Jordan, for having us. I'm Dylan Barnes. I'm an artist and producer in Tucson. Grew up here. Jordan and I actually went to high school together at Tucson High. Known each other a long time. Met Bryce at open mics.
Hell yeah.
And Bryce was hosting a lot of open mics. I know of 2 at the time. I'm not sure if there's more going on.
That was it?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Also, we played a lot of shows. Went down to your spot.
Yeah. Had a cool house party. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Had some beans. Cowboy beans. Those
beans.
are good.
Yeah. My mom's favorite thing to cook for a party.
So yeah, we're here to talk about working on your record a lot, like mostly. But we also wanted to highlight Jordan's studio since he was so nice to let us do this here.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jordan.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
It.
Happy to share my space.
Thank you.
Jordan, would you tell us a little bit more about you and your studio here?
All right. I'm Jordan Danford. I'm a Tucson native. I am a computer science kind of guy. I'm a software developer, but I do a lot of music stuff on the side. Grew up playing violin. I play more like guitar and bass. Yeah, this is my little studio. I'm still kind of getting started.
Thank you so much for letting us use your studio today to do this interview.
Yeah, of course.
Dylan, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. I'm Okay, I'll Be Okay. My upcoming album, it's going to be out September 30th. It's indie, it's folk, it's songs that I wrote all in my teens, and it's a good collection of sad songs with some good vibes, I think. And Dylan here was awesome enough to help make it happen with all of the production and mixing, and it was a big project too.
Yeah, it took a little longer than I expected, actually.
Same. Yeah. We did some revamping on some songs. There was a handful of songs that were previously recorded before we had started, so that was pretty cool to see those songs kind of like get new life breathed back into them and prepared for the album release. It did take longer than expected. Especially this project is kind of years in the making. And Dylan, you came in and really helped me close it out, which was just fantastic.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
One of the more interesting parts for me was that the previous producer you had worked with, I had also worked with.
Yeah.
So it was fun to see how their method had changed over time. and like the different tracks and how many more mics he was using. And then in addition to that, it was fun to see a lot of the musicians we hung out with and played with and spoke to from open mics.
Yeah.
On just random tracks. There's one with Matthew Scott playing those 12 strings.
Yeah, it's A Song for Her by You.
Yeah, Song for Her. That one was probably it was like my most fun moment because I was so excited about Matt. I was just like, oh, Matt's on here, dude. And he's a crazy guitarist.
Yeah. It's wild how you highlighted different parts of the guitar in that new mix, because this, it was released with as a duet with another female artist, and then Dylan came in and redid this song, and the guitar sounds completely different. There's all these new highlighted parts. You'd almost think someone came in and recorded a new guitar part over it.
I did. No, I'm just kidding.
Matthew's not on there anymore.
No. Yeah, because he kind of had dueling lead guitar stuff going on, so it was really just picking the best out of those two and not really letting them touch each other until the end, because they were kind of cluttering the song.
I hear that.
Yeah, like, just having two solos at one time, it's like, if it's not a bebop song, it doesn't make that much sense.
Yeah, if you get a chance to listen to the single version compared to the album version, you can hear that difference. And that was one of my thoughts too, is on that single version, it was a lot happening, and you really like brought it and highlighted the perfect moments for the album on that song, and yeah, it felt like that song finally came together. Like, it was like, oh yeah, this is the song. I can hear it now.
Yeah. There's almost something, like, ethereal about it, also.
Ooh.
It's like, I don't know, it's, like, twinkly and, like, feels like it's in the sky. It's pretty cool. I like it.
Describing music is always so difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good...
I like it. That's a good description. That song,
I mean, I feel like that would make me want to hear it, so...
For sure.
Works.
and you can.
Yeah.
So speaking of, interesting production elements, for this album, we ended up going with a acoustic track for the intro and the outro. And that came after a little bit of beating my head against the wall and going back and forth, and again, you were so helpful in solidifying like an actual like concept, a purpose for those songs. There's a lot of songs on the album, and it's good to have them all be purposeful. So that was such a cool way to close out the album,
Yeah, that decision came towards the end too.
Mm-hmm.
We basically produced those songs like twice over
Yeah.
before we're like, okay, let's just strip it back. And it actually had helped because I had an album called Fake Live, where I essentially did the similar thing to your opening tracks. It's in a very different context, though. So I was prepared when you had asked me to do it.
It sounded, those tracks, even though they were recorded in studio, they sounded more live than most live recordings I've gotten. Just because like it was like the perfect amount of this beautiful ambiance, noise in the background, and I've played those songs, I don't know, maybe 100 times out live now, but I don't think I could ever get such like a perfect like vibe to say, hey, this was recorded live. Like, it sounded so good, it really did.
That's there's kind of a trick. Well, there's a few tricks in that.
Bag of tricks.
Bag of tricks, yeah. One is you have a little talking in the background, like just an audience sound.
Mm-hmm.
And then when your voice would come in, I had a compressor push it back.
Oh.
So it'd be like sidechain. So whenever you sang, that would kind of disappear.
Nice.
So that adds to the ambiance. And then also, to make it sound more live, I would do a quick slapback delay, because if you're in a room, just like right here, I can hear my voice coming back. You know what I mean? So live, you kind of have to add those little details.
Oh.
Like a little delay, a little reverb, a little...
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it sound more like it's in a space.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of what makes an album sound so big and beautiful, are those little tweaks.
Yeah, I enjoyed your decision to open and close with like the live songs, because it's a nice way to wrap it up, introduce
Bookends
what
are
you're
always
doing.
good for albums, yeah.
For sure. I think the album also, it takes a nice journey, like musically speaking, because it goes from the folky aspects, but then you start to explore more. It seems to go from folk to folk punk to punk almost straight to, I don't even know, like it has more pop elements suddenly, but it's also cohesive because the instruments and the playing is mostly you.
Yeah. And, one of the things I really love about your producing style, your mixing style, is this element of like this indie, this kind of like hip-hop, poppy sound. I love it. And there's a few songs on there, like These Mountains, where I was like, the ending needs to get like it needs to get weird, it needs to get funky. And so, when we started working on this, like I was like, oh, Dylan's going to be perfect for bringing this element of like funk to these very folksy acoustic songs, because I was like I could do this just me and my guitar, but I want something a little bit more. And you think about who you can work with to make that happen, and you're just so talented when it comes to adding sparkle to things.
Thank you.
It was, you really made it come to life.
These Mountains is actually one I wanted to bring up, because the end, it gets all dubbed out and crazy.
Yeah.
It's just like there's like a kick going at the beginning most of the time, and he's just strumming it out, and then all of a sudden it's like a fill, like, and then it goes into total like weird folk reggae dub.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun messing with tape delays.
That's definitely your style.
Yeah.
It turned out incredible. One of my favorites by far, and also just like, I think it's such a highlight of the album because of that ending to that song. It's just like, whoa, what did we just stumble into here? Like, it veers off a little bit from this like this folksy feel, and it's like, hey, we're doing something you haven't heard, and then we're bringing it back in again.
Tangential. It's like a tangent.
Yeah. It is a little tangent.
Also something
there.
you like doing.
Yeah. It also hits you immediately. There's like no transition. It's just like, boom, we're there.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best way to do it.
Dive right in.
Yeah. If you don't need it, why put it? Why put it in?
Exactly. There's times for transitions, and there's time for just like yeet right in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorites too. Just because it's fun. It's a fun track. The only reason it went dub is because initially you suddenly started skanking at the end almost.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's just lean into that.
Right on influence.
That was like one of the parts where I was like, I think there just needs to be something more lyrically here, and it's about like, you know, being in Arizona and growing up here. How can I add some Arizona elements and
Yeah.
and then it turned into that kind of reggae, you know, vibe really quickly. It was just like, oh, okay, I love this. So.
Which is kind of big in Arizona. People love reggae out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strangely.
Tucson's got like rockabilly, country, and then all of a sudden you have the hut. Just like they're, you know, playing reggae music and stuff. You're like, I love this.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's a little out of place, you know.
Yeah, I'm thinking the connection is just sort of like the easygoing vibe of Tucson. You know, people are just kind of driving slow, smoking
sure.
a lot of weed,
Smoking.
things of that nature. Yeah,
Tucson vibes.
for real.
Yeah, I think it's actually the amount that you put in your album is the amount that it's present in Tucson.
Whew. Well, beautiful, beautiful. You know, I wanted to talk some about I'm Okay, I'll Be Okay, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about your album, Voices, which is just dropped and sounds super cool, extra funky.
Yeah, it is.
I love it. And as I was listening to it, like, some of the things that came to my head, I had some questions, and the first one was, like, if you had any big inspirations as far as producers or artists.
Yeah. Neil Pogue is a really big influence on me.
Okay.
And he's, well, as with a lot of producers and mixers, he's someone you've probably heard a lot of and never heard his name.
I haven't.
And he's produced multiple albums for Outkast, TLC, like Waterfalls, like Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls.
Nice.
Okay.
He's really electronic.
Okay.
Almost.
Well,
like,
there we go. Yeah.
he messes with drum machines a lot. Igor he worked on, so like the vocal pitching aspect, he is probably my biggest influence is Neil Pogue.
Oh, cool. And there's a lot of vocal pitching in your record.
Yeah, absolutely. There's probably like
That's like
one
one of your traits.
instance
I was gonna say
of pure vocals.
I almost never hear your actual like pitch
Yeah.
in your songs.
Very
It's like kind
rare.
of your trademark.
You've got that producer mindset, and so I was listening, and I'm like, what producers was he thinking of while he was doing this?
For sure.
You know?
That's also, there's like a metaphorical aspect to pitching on that record, because
Oh.
a lot of times I pitch in the past, it's like it sounds better fast or slow, you know. It's like pretty simple.
Mhm.
But on this record there's like purpose. I'm like, this is me as a kid, so I'm way high pitched, or like this is me thinking back now, so I'm like a little lower, or like, you know what I mean. So there's like reasons behind the pitching on that record.
So, did you have any other people come in and help you on this project? Did Jordan help you on this one?
On this one, at most, this guy on Discord.
And what have you guys worked on together?
Jordan Sultry.
Nice.
Mike TV played.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and that was a long process. And I was with that producer who worked on your record.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I did a little guitar. I don't know if any of that made it on the record, but there's some nice violin parts.
I think some
You know,
guitar.
kind of recorded like on the seat of my pants in
Yeah.
a closet.
Well, that's how it goes.
Yeah, no, exactly. It kind of it keeps it exciting.
Yeah. I was Bob Dylaning back then, like on purpose. I was like, I'm just gonna not tell people how the song goes.
Right, I remember asking, you were like, oh.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's a new one for me, hell yeah.
Yeah, that was my goal. It was tough to navigate because it felt a little manipulative because I wasn't able to tell you what I was doing and have it work at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was part of the process.
Yeah.
It's just classical training does not account for that.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been growing over time.
But I think the highlight of your violin on Sultry for me was Evangeline.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that one I like sent to my mom.
Yeah,
That's the kind of thing I'm proud of.
It was like 2 violins. You're like making chords and stuff. It was sick.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm happy with that one.
That could be tough too. You know, getting there's a lot of little decisions to make in an album.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important to work with good quality mixers, producers. You know, it makes a really big difference.
That's essentially what I see production as, is just decision making or helping someone edit and make decisions.
So that stuff constantly impresses me. You know, I'm pretty much just plucking on my guitar and then singing along, and I learned a lot on this project. I've learned a ton, actually.
Yeah, you're plucking on like 6 guitars at least. And bass and...
Yeah.
It's good variety. Though.
Yeah, stacks, vocal stacks.
That was something new. I learned how to play bass for this album.
Mm-hmm.
And I only had one song that I had a bass player come in on, and that was You Couldn't Handle Your Drugs.
Okay.
And classically, how it goes sometimes in the studio, I did have to re-record a few parts after he left. Just the chorus.
Yeah.
So we have like a collaboration piece there. And yeah, but I did the bass for the rest, and that was super cool. I think you could probably tell it was a little messier the first couple songs, huh?
I mean, I guess. I didn't really note that, though.
No?
I think the bass was really tasteful.
Oh, thank you.
Not overplayed, which happens a lot on the bass.
Well, I couldn't overplay it.
Yeah.
Right now, for bass, that works out perfectly. Yeah, it's really much more about, like, you know, getting into the groove of things.
Yeah.
Knowing what notes to play instead of playing all of them.
Just enhancing the song.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you did a great job of being a bassist on your own record.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
That's good. Learning is stuff fun sometimes.
Yeah. There's some elements to that can be a pain in the ass, but that was a good one. I had a lot of fun. It was cool to just kind of like hyper focus on getting like just a couple lines down and being like, okay, if I can just record that right, then I'll move on to the next part.
Yeah.
Could I ever play it live like that? I don't know, but it worked out for the album.
For sure. That's I don't think you need to perfectly recreate the album live.
True.
It's almost boring if you do. At least for me.
Yeah, there's usually like a little bit of freedom in
be-
deciding, you know, what parts you want to keep, and kind of sometimes it's like things just have a totally different energy when they're live, because it's more about, you know, connecting and not, you know, having a bunch of neat production tricks.
It's like I feel like playing out period. It's like a magic show. If someone's not a musician or a producer, it's like you're watching someone get sawed in half.
Yeah, something I always love is, you know, you can mess up a lot and people don't even notice, because
No, even musicians.
if you look like you're just kind of doing the right thing, and actually, even with the band, like
that flat 13 was crazy, dude. You're like, that was a mistake.
Or in Radiohead, didn't the guy like turn his keyboards off for like a long time when they started rehearsing, or is that just a rumor?
I don't know about that. In high school, I unplugged my band members' amps during shows sometimes.
That was for everyone's benefit.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. You mentioned sometimes if you do it the exact same way, it can be boring.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking of Fall Out Boy. I love Fall Out Boy. They're so good.
Patrick Stump's underrated.
Yeah, his voice is incredible.
Oh, man's
Yeah.
beast.
But my only complaint is that their live show sounds like they just played the record every time. Like, they're perfect, and that's beautiful, but...
It's impressive, but it's kind of, yeah, it's...
You just
You
want a
can just
little more
listen to
exploration.
the album, then, yeah, like,
Yeah.
It should be something slightly different.
I'm almost like wondering, I know you can sing this, but is this the record? What's happening right now, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just lip syncing.
I want to
feel
hear you
that.
mess up.
That's actually why I think Patrick Stump is underrated, because he doesn't mess up. When I see him sing live, you're like, oh wow, he actually hits that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, incredible singer. Do you guys have any dream collaborations?
That's a great question. I don't know, mostly I would want to work with certain mixers,
Oh.
because as much as I enjoy mixing and producing and making a sound, I feel like having someone to pass it off to would make it all the more creative.
Yeah.
And so like Alex Toomey, someone I would want to get to mix. Neil Pogue obviously would be insane. But I haven't put too much thought into it just because I don't want to be disappointed.
That makes sense. Like, relatable.
Yeah.
Being like a stoner metal, doom metal sort of guy, I think the dream for me would probably just be like jamming with Matt Pike from Sleeping High on Fire.
Nice.
I mean, he's always shirtless. I feel like I would need to be shirtless to kind of like, get the right vibes.
That makes sense.
Yeah, to drink a lot of beers.
Yeah.
I like it. That sounds like a good collaboration.
It's not necessarily that realistic, but just throw it out there.
You never know. You never know.
What's up, Matt?
Right there. He's waiting for you. He's got his shirt on now, but just wait.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I think if I had a dream collab, there's a couple songwriters I'd really like to pick their brains. And no, not Bob Dylan. But Trevor Hall is a songwriter who... He's this guy that's traveled just a ton. Spent I think most of his life overseas and in India and all sorts of stuff. And he's just got this, he's got such a positive view of the world, and sometimes I feel very nihilistic, and he talks about or sings about love so much, and I would love to pick his brain and just see what like inspires him musically there, because I find music, has those moments for me where it's like lots of good vibes, but it's also been like a way to process all of my frustrations and cynicisms and, melancholy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he just has a really good therapist.
It could be.
It's a valuable resource.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to pick some songwriters' brains like that. Like maybe him or Nako Bear from Medicine for the People is another guy I'd really like to chat with.
I wanted to ask you about the strings, the synths and the strings. 'Cause there's a lot of pads, like not a lot of like orchestral violin strings, but there's almost always some string element going on in these songs.
It was kind of like a little bit experimental, like learning what I wanted to do. This is my third record and kind of the first one that I did most of these instrumentation parts. But a lot of these songs kind of have like this rise and fall element of like highs and lows.
What keyboard are you using?
I am using a Yamaha P115 or something like that.
Those like full key kind of wall ones.
It is the nicest keyboard oh my goodness, I waited a long time. I played a $25 keyboard for years and years and years, and finally my dad was like, he saw me play it somewhere. I brought it out to a show, and he kind of like laughed, and I was like, oh, whatever, like it's what I got. And then for Christmas a couple years ago, he got me that keyboard because I had talked about it a little too much, and so my dad got me that keyboard, and was one of the coolest parts about this record was incorporating those keys into it. Kind of had been a little bit of a dream of mine. Like when I was thinking about this record, I was kind of like imagining playing some of those songs on that keyboard, and I didn't think I would, like we're talking about dreams. I was like, someday I'll get that keyboard. And then it was perfect timing.
Yeah, I don't think I could imagine these songs without the keyboard and synth elements.
Yeah, and they wouldn't be there, at least not in the same way, if my dad hadn't done that. So big shout out to Dad. Love you, thank you. Was there anything for your music that you wanted to plug?
For Voices,
Yeah.
I mean, just buy it. Go buy Voices. It's on Bandcamp, and soon, maybe within the next 2 or 3 months, I'll have CDs and merch available.
Sweet.
Hell
Sweet.
yeah.
Voices.
Gotta get that merch.
Voices. If you
Voices.
like abstraction and trauma dumping, go check out Voices.
Described perfectly. I love that. I love that.
It is accurate.
It's such a good description for an album. If that doesn't make you want to buy an album, I don't know what will. We all need that now and then, a little trauma dump. Why go to therapy when you can just buy an album?
Yeah.
It'll cure all your problems.
Or make one.
Either way, it'll do something.
Yeah.
Well, way cool. So my name is Bryce J. Rogers. Oh, we're talking about my upcoming album, I'm Okay, I'll Be Okay, out September 30th. We're here with Jordan in his studio. Thank you for having us again.
Yeah, of course, my pleasure.
Of course. And Dylan Barnes is our wonderful mixing and producer for this album, I'm Okay, I'll Be Okay. Made the magic happen, truly.
Well, you did, but I helped finish it out, for sure.
Well,
You sawed them in half, I put them back together.
sewed them up.
Yeah.
Beautiful metaphor, I like it.
Yeah, it's a perfect metaphor for an album. And that's what it is, too, like, if anybody out there is, like, considering, like, why should you hire somebody to produce or mix and master your album, it's because you can't do everything on your own all of the time. Sometimes you can, but, it makes such a big difference to have somebody to give you feedback, somebody to brainstorm with, and somebody to do the things that, in my case, there's no way I could have done on my own. So thank you so much, Dylan, for making this project come together.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was really a lot of fun.
All right, thank you so much. And a big special thank you to my Patreon community for making this video possible. You guys rock. All right, catch you next time.